If it goes live. All right. Good evening,
Hey.
everybody. Dave Wilson with Stephen Farrer of the Northern Utah Jobs. We're going to be right back. Still feel like that's a movie theater.
That was incredible, Dave.
How you doing, Steve?
I am great. It's a Saturday. It feels like a Sunday. Aren't we supposed to do this on Sunday, Dave? What happened there?
It's 7:12 here. It's only 5 o'clock there, right?
That's right. Just getting started for the night. Doing a lot of recruiting today.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, we got recruiters working on Saturdays here.
That's the best, and that's the way to win, because I've said it before, even around here, that's where I get my best clients. Tomorrow, during football, I have fun with it. But hey, the reason I wanted to bring you on tonight is I enjoy talking about staffing, because that's what we both do. And I just wanted to go over some struggles that I've had this week and see what you've done. And the first one I want to start out with is, when you get a direct hire orders, is I had a lot of people complain about the hiring process and the time frame. So if I had somebody for a direct hire for customer service, by the time the company chooses them for an interview, that's like a week. Then by the time you set up the interview, they set it up, they go to it. Then I had the candidate within 2 days. Did you hear anything?
Right.
Then I send emails back. It's been over a week, and they still haven't made a decision. And then when they do get back with me, the client, I reach back out to the candidate, and they've already found a job.
Yeah, it's all transpired in a week, and that's direct hire, Dave. Like, I've seen this with some companies in the light industrial space that take a week to get somebody started.
That, I don't know what to tell the candidate sometimes. I'm very honest. I'm like, listen, I haven't heard whether I've done a video resume and I can see they opened it. I can tell the client or candidate, hey, they did open it Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go back to the client too many times and say, hey, did you make a decision? Because I feel, in my opinion, I'd say 10 to 12 days, maybe. I don't know what you feel about the turnover for a direct hire should be.
That's a tricky one. I think really when it comes to the candidate selection process, the moment that you've selected a skilled candidate that's a 90% fit, right, you turn them over to the client. Like, there's a lot of responsibility on the client side to have proper onboarding, a nice welcoming party, like really set them up for success. And I always the first week I try to own that. Right. Like, I'll go back and see where we got it wrong. But after that, if it's been longer than a week, I usually put that back on the company to see if it's maybe part of there's some sort of snag in the onboarding program, or did they have a proper introduction and were they set up for success? And that's what I always look at when I look at direct hire turnover.
Yeah, because whenever I find out from a client, I go right back and I tell the candidate, I'm like, listen, you weren't chosen. We've talked about it numerous times on different shows, how some people don't want to do that discussion.
Just the waiting. If you're talking about just the waiting on a company to select a candidate, I think the days of making those decisions over a 2 to 3 week period are over. There's so many there's so many jobs out there that your candidate is applying for, that you're competing with all of these job offers, and some of them might even be a lower set of responsibilities and pay more than your position. Like, you have to make those decisions quickly, or you're going to lose the candidate. It's a job seeker's market. I've only been in this industry for 3 years, but I've hired thousands of people over my 15-year career. And anytime I hesitated on hiring a candidate, anytime I took, 2-3 times more to, like, okay, let me just interview this guy 3 more times with 2 different people, and then I'll decide. Wow. I've never won in that scenario. In fact, the faster I hire, the faster I can get things done. Like, sometimes you just take a chance, Dave. You roll the dice. You go, you know what? Let's just hire them and have them prove me wrong. And I've always won in that scenario. But when I include 5 other people in the interview process and I have them take 6 different tests, and then we put them against 3 other candidates, it doesn't work well, Dave.
No, and I try to be as honest. I try to be as honest as I can, because then all of a sudden in 10, 15 days, oh, we'd like to have them. And then I'm like, I go back to the candidate and they're all mad. They're upset and they're like, oh, now they want. And I'm like, listen, if you're not working, I get it, but take the job. Or at least, I get you're upset that it's taken so long, because by the time they get paid, set up, it could be a month without income.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're getting ready to make that move in their career, and you sold them on the opportunity. It seems like it's a good fit, and then what? It's quiet for a week, and they go, oh, I guess they didn't want me, Dave. I guess you didn't want me, and they start looking elsewhere, and they're putting their emotional energy into another company, another job, another set of interviews, and they've already disconnected from this opportunity.
And that's where I try to get back. I've had, tomorrow I got to answer like about 20 emails. I always try to answer them all, because I have some, I don't know where they're applying. They're all different states. I'm like, all right, why are they applying? But what I've noticed on some of the job boards, everybody's just clicking. So when I get the job, I'm like, wait a minute, you're in Wyoming. Why are you applying for a job in Pennsylvania?
Because it's Wyoming, Dave. That's why.
Well,
they're trying to get out of there.
I know, but that brings me to the next subject, and I guess it's event night for me. But when I get like 25, 30 resumes and I don't get a chance to look through them all, I get people. I guess what I'm trying to say is they're just push and play, or
right.
pushing. Yeah. Because when I call the client candidate, they say, "What job did I apply for?"
That drives me crazy.
It does, because it's not fair to where maybe I've missed 1 or 2 that were qualified.
Right. You missed the 1 or 2 that did spend the time to read the job, research the company, and you just took all of your time talking to these candidates that just hit quick apply on 20 jobs on 1 page, and they have no idea what they just applied to.
In New Jersey, Steve, they have this candidate calls me. He's upset. He's like, PUA. I shouldn't laugh. I'm not laughing, but PUA is up in December, and he's like, I got it. He said, what job was this? I said, there. He goes, oh, he pushed the urgent button on the job board. Urgent in Jersey. You push it, and that means you really need a job. And the job,
what?
I didn't ask him if it was Indeed. It can't be Indeed or Career Bar. I never heard of it. It pushes it out there, and all of a sudden your inbox gets full. I'm like, no.
Wow. Don't do that. That is pretty wild. Yeah, it goes back to the gig economy, Dave. You just, you want to go to work, you push a button and you get a call and you get instructions and you go to work. And when you're done, you push the button. It's just, I don't know. Is that the future, Dave?
How's it going in Utah right now? Like, or what are you seeing out there? Wherever Utah is, everybody, I don't know Utah. I don't even know their steaks. You get Utah steaks, or is that Nebraska steaks? Omaha. What's in Utah?
All right, so Utah's been. It's last time we talked, Dave, on your program. I was thinking we're gonna start slowing down towards the end of November. Just companies are just gonna deal with what they have. Yeah. They'll be forced to, but it seems like companies are just ramping up. even more. And I think it's just a matter of it's a ripple effect. So as soon as one company gets caught up, they're sending all of their raw materials out to their vendors, right? Or their finished materials getting sent out. And so then all of a sudden you've got, as a manufacturer or maybe a warehouse, you're getting all of this bulk that a company just got caught up. So the company that maybe we staffed for and got them all caught up, they're able to get all of their product out. And now these companies that have been behind and short staffed and they've been dealing with what they have, all of a sudden they're getting all this product and raw materials, and now they have to deal with that, and they've got to ramp up, and it's just a ripple effect. And wow, it has been busy, Dave. We keep seeing, we went from getting caught up with one company, and then overnight we get 80 more openings, and you're just like, what do you do?
Do you see, now we've both been through peak for years. Right now is peak. Everybody's peak. I get that. And then usually right after Christmas, it would slow down. Then you have your returns, people that would work, and they'd lay off a lot of people for peak.
Right.
But I'm trying to figure out how peak is going to be different this year, just like you said, because, it's quarter 1, starts fresh. But I'm wondering whether, since we're dealing of what we have,
right,
if there's going to be a lot of back orders, if it's going to be a lot, will peak, I don't know which way it's going to go. Will peak?
Yeah, I don't know.
January. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think, I think whatever we thought was going to happen may not happen. And peak just might be from now through the same time next year.
Yeah, right. All the way. Because when I went to Walmart the other day, and I asked the young lady, there was shelves were empty and they had pallets, and they said certain items they just can't get. And she was just telling me they just.
Well, did you hear there's a rush on toilet paper again?
Nope. Hey, I put that on Facebook. I have 72 rolls. I have 72 rolls. Hey, there's Gabrielle. How you doing, man? You ever meet Gabrielle?
No, I have not.
Oh, you gotta. This guy does a show every night.
Does
Gabrielle,
he?
We gotta hook up. Yeah, he's awesome. Every night I get activation. I'll go up tonight. I'll be like, Gabrielle's live, and he does a great job. He gets a lot of great hosts. So make sure, Steve, that I'm
gonna check him out. Hey, yeah. Gabrielle, how you doing, man?
Yeah, he's excellent to speak with. And that's the first time that he talked. And he really gets some good guests on there and all types. I don't know how he does it every friggin', I was about ready tonight. Every night Gabrielle's on, But when we said about peak, the next thing that was bothering me this week was experience versus education. I'm going to say it like this. I always look at this. I try to tell clients, I think we need to educate them. Here's a scale. I always say a scale. This is what you want, and this is maybe what's here right now.
Right.
Because you have to give up something a little bit, like to balance it, because not everybody has 100%. They want a degree, but then you have somebody that's got 15 years experience.
Exactly.
15 years.
That drove me crazy, Dave. I won't tell you the name of the company, but I admired this company as a retailer. And live 7:30. All right.
I told you, I knew it. So thanks, Gabriel. We should all do a show. He's a great guy. So
I'll throw him on the panel.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this company I really admired when I was in retail, and they called me. They offered me a store manager job, and we're going through the process, Dave. And they tell me, they say, "Hey, just by the way, do you have a college degree?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I dropped out my first semester, never looked back." Yeah. And I had double the experience that they were looking for in a store manager, but they would not hire me on because I didn't have that college degree. I taught finance to store managers without a college degree, and this company wouldn't hire me. And it was a big letdown. I was very disappointed in their decision, and it was their loss at the end of the day. And from that moment on, I was just determined, Dave, if I hire anyone on, it's not just about experience. It's what they're willing to learn, what they bring to the table. It's
right.
Not just education. Like, if they're willing to learn, they can have a college degree, or they can have, they don't even have to graduate high school for all I care. As long as they're willing to learn now,
right?
That's what I'm looking for. and you're not going to find 100% match on paper. You want a college degree and 8 years of experience, or do you want 15 years of experience and no college degree?
That's
I don't know.
what I'm talking about. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Pittsburgh Bill, checking in. Hello.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
He's another great person to check with. If you don't know him, Steve, you get to know a lot of these guys here. I agree with what you're saying there, because I was a troublemaker when I was young in high school. So
I can't see that at all, Dave.
Listen, 2 months before graduation, I was in a little, not trouble, but just, I was one of those students that didn't want to listen. So my father dropped me off. I didn't graduate there. He dropped me off in the military.
Ah, okay. That's the story, huh?
Back then, it was, I finished up and you were able to go in the military, 17, 18, you could do your high school there and you could fill it out. So I graduated there. But like you said, I don't have a college degree, but in staffing, 16 years. So what do you do?
Yeah.
So I think I touched on that places. I wish companies would look at that, because if you have somebody, like you said, 15 years, and if all they have to do is learn a couple programs or something, I would hire the person, give them
right.
I got these guys talking. Bill Bradford. Hello, Bill.
Well, there's still companies out there in the light industrial space that require a high school diploma for production positions. There's very few of them left out there, and it's really cool to see some of these companies decide to waive that requirement, because they know that 4 years of production experience is you don't need a high school diploma at that point. You understand measurements, you understand production, you understand safety, you understand speed. You don't need a high school diploma. And what high school taught you how to sit on a production line, Dave? I don't remember that in high school. Do you?
No, and I'm trying to fill some spots for a manufacturing company now, and I consider it still like a light industrial machine operator, but you don't have much manufacturing around here. So to me, I would take the candidates that want to work.
Yeah, and want to learn.
Like you want an interest in manufacturing. I love, because that's what I did. I like fixing things. I like running machines, but there's nothing here. Some of them are coming back, but one of the next things I listened to one of your shows was with everybody coming back, and we don't know what's going on with COVID, the second round or whatever, and part-time. I listened to you talk about part-time. Do you see companies, I wish some around here would take that advice, because I'll tell you why. I've had candidates, do you have anything part-time? Because one stays home because the child is in school. The other one needs to pick up the money. I don't have any companies around here. I see some of them are getting smart. You'll start seeing an XPO, but I noticed you were saying a lot of that you saw in your area.
Dave, this is such a big deal. So for those of you plant managers, production managers, master schedules out there, the schedulers that are in these buildings, you've got to pay attention. So people are experiencing, these large companies are experiencing on any given day 10 to 12% attendance. Like, I mean, we're talking, that's if you've got a facility of 1,000 people, like 10% of your workforce just gone for the day. How can you operate like that? And then on the weekends, Dave, it's even worse, 25% attendance issues. And some of them are because people are calling in because of COVID concerns, but others are, oh, my son's walking back here. Careful, buddy.
All right.
That's the fun of working on a Saturday. Others are, quarantine, right? You got an exposure on a cell. And so all 5 people on that cell are going to be quarantined for 14 days. So you have 5 people that are gone overnight for 14 days. How do you manage your production lines like that? You can't. And there's been so many companies that have just, I mean, bless their heart, they're doing what they can, but they're working their people to death. And OSHA incidents are going through the roof as a result. And so they're just going with what they have and doing their best. And because they don't have someone that can schedule part-timers into the mix. How do you budget like 10% of attendance and then 10% part-timers to fill in the gap and hire for that and schedule it? It's nearly impossible, Dave, but I tell you, companies are figuring it out. You get the right person that's got the experience to schedule that way, And the companies that are bringing on that flexibility, if they're allowing part-time, and I'm talking, Dave, not just like a part-time weekend shift, that's the first thing they go to. Like, oh, okay, we'll just do a part-time weekend shift. No, you've got to do part-time on every shift, every day of the week if you're running 24/7, and you're going to get your production out on time. And you might go over budget, but what's the alternative? You're going to lose millions in revenue, or are you going to lose, maybe a couple $100,000 in labor costs? I don't know. It's one of those things where you've got to take a close look, and you got to get someone skilled that understands scheduling and see if they can get part-timers. But if you can get part-timers into your building, you're going to have this entire demographic that is sitting there at home. They can't work because of their kids on, like my son, he's virtual in his preschool through the end of the year. How do you deal with that as a parent? 2 working parents, and your son has to be virtual at home and you have like 3 hours of homework every day. Parents are forced to stay at home and make the hard decisions. But if you can find a part-time shift for them, they're going to flock to you because that's what they need.
You said it right there, because I've had that. And then I get some of the companies that say, no, we can't do that because of scheduling or invoicing. Listen, I always say this. I'm sorry. When COVID happened, we adjusted. Oh, well, we can do it now.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do this now, or we can bypass this. We don't have to do this, which is great. But it's the same way with unemployment. I mean, with part-time, it's like you said, if you get somebody, I'm not saying I know how to do it all. I don't. Not for something like that big where you're talking bigger companies, man. It's going to be a nightmare.
It is, yeah.
If there's a process, because the ones that want to work overtime, part-time, majority of them will go to work because they're like, wow, it's not mandatory. They're going to work because they need that extra, $15, $18 an hour for 2 shifts, 16 hours. And
on that same note, Dave, some companies think, oh, my son just wrote Elwood Staffing on paper. That was cool. Let me see that. Hey, look at that 5-year-old. I can't see it with the lighting, but
there we go. Hey, there we go. I see it. Oh, it's Elwood Staffing.
That was impressive. Thanks, Robert. Yeah. So anyways, that's the thing, Dave, is the part-time position. A lot of companies think they can pay less for that.
Right.
Because, it's part-time. But in all reality, you need to pay more for your part-time positions because people need to make every hour count. So if they can only do 25 hours in a week, they're going to look for the jobs that pay the highest. So do not cut back your pay on those part-time, make it equal to your full-time, or make it more, because you've got to incentivize those people to work those short shifts during the week.
Have you seen some success in that?
Yeah. There's a couple companies in our area that have made the change. And it's been really hard. Both of those that I know of that have made the change. It's been extremely difficult, but it's working now. It's working, and that's I think a lot of people need to follow that model. And it's really interesting. In my office, we're telling people, design your own shift, Dave. Pick your hours, pick your days, pick your pay. How much do you want to make? And we will line up an 80% match. Maybe you give a little bit on the pay. You wanted 16, maybe we can get you 15. And maybe you wanted to work 4 days a week, but we can give you 3. Like, it's an 80% match. And all we're doing, Dave, is we're taking their schedule. We're emailing a few clients and supervisors and asking if they would take this person based on this schedule. No one has turned us down yet.
See, I watched your video when you were doing that. You can design your pay, design your shift, design this, what works.
Design the perfect job.
I'm like, is Steve for real? What's that ideal? It would help us as a thing, because I could get 10 people easy that would want to work Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're
in a unique situation. You're looking for a new job, or you're unemployed. And if I was to come to you and say, Dave, tell me all of your challenges with your schedule, your work-life balance, and oh my gosh.
Is that your wife?
Yeah.
See, I told you, everybody, just a real quick. Everybody says I dress in black and they call me names, Cash, Johnny Cash, and all this. I said to Steve,
I'm blushing here.
So if anybody doesn't, I got a Superman. I got him a shirt. I do have a shirt. I'm trying to find a figure, but if everybody would look at Steve, Clark Kent knows his stuff.
I'm blushing right now. I don't know if you could tell.
Oh.
All right. So where I was going with that, Dave. Thank you, Courtney. That was sweet. So Dave, whatever your challenges are to getting you to your barrier of entry, if I could just eliminate that for you, will you come and work for me? And it's like, well, yeah, I guess so.
It makes sense. Because if it's through a staffing company, I don't see anything besides doing an invoice, keeping track of their hours. It would be a little bit more work extra for us too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because if you're going to put 15 extra 20, I'd be like, oh boy, where did he work? Hey, did you work? Or payroll errors. But the way it is now is, I think what's coming, I shouldn't say it's coming because we don't know. But if you haven't learned anything from pre-COVID, coming now, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I've learned so much how to get the candidate from A all the way to the job and not even see the person besides a video and doing a tour. We actually can do a tour of the company that if they send you right here.
It's huge. Yeah.
You know, and you can do the drug screens now right here. You know, you can take it as long as it's recorded and you're holding it and you're doing it. And it's a company.
That's amazing.
Goes right to the house. I wonder if they use Amazon Prime, but hey.
Now you can use drug screens, right to your doorstep.
Woo! Oh my God, can you imagine?
That's amazing.
That far yet, but hey, one more thing.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you about was with the PUA running out December 26th. So now you're talking a different workforce. You're talking about people have small businesses and working, and they're the ones that are going to be losing December 26th if it doesn't go on.
Yeah.
If it's not extended. So there's going to be another influx of candidates, different type of skill sets. So that's where I predict, unless they do change that, I don't know what's going to happen with all them, because that's going to fill if companies, again, in January are going to be hiring. I don't know. I can't tell anybody if they're going to be hiring. I don't know. I won't tell everybody yes.
I think, Dave, it goes back to, we had this discussion before. All the successful people that I know are forward thinkers. They're forward planners. Right. No one has a crystal ball. No one can predict the future, but you can look at basic trends. You can look at things, financial funds that are going to run out.
Right.
And you can make a decision. Are you just going to wait and see what Congress is going to do after this crazy contested election?
Yep.
Or are you just going to make the decision to just move forward? Are you just going to make the decision now? What I posted this on Facebook, a quote earlier about, your future, Dave, doesn't start tomorrow, doesn't start a week from now. Everything is in the present moment. So when you're making your decisions about the future, you're not waiting for the future to happen. You make the decision today. So if you're worried about those funds running up, if you're worried about your business, like, you just got to decide, write down the pros and cons, make the best decision. And that's the great thing about life, Dave, is you make the wrong decision, you figure it out pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. And
you do, right?
You do.
And then you can just make another decision to course correct. And so right now the jobs are here. And these are high paying jobs. Companies are changing their wages by the week. It's so competitive. It's a job seeker market. So you can get in now. And then you couple that with all of this growth, you have these management positions that were created out of the need, and they're here. And so you can be promoted into management positions that you would have never been considered before. And so why are you just sitting at your job where you're at right now, and you're unhappy and you're just waiting for the next thing to happen? And maybe the future will happen. Maybe it doesn't. Well, the future happens in the present. It happens right now. So you just have to make the decision. And if you're a job seeker, or if you're someone that knows you're going to need to get in the market, you just have to map it out and make the decision, and then just move forward in that decision. If it doesn't work, hey, that's okay. You just make that iteration and try again.
And that's what I tell candidates too, is because they can extend their PUA, they can extend their benefits if they work part-time. See, because if you work, if you just wait, ideally, and I had done that back in the day, I wanted to say, is I worked part-time while I was on unemployment, and you were able to stay off longer until you found that job that you like. Because if you get 512 or 572 a week, I think is the top, you make 515 cleared. So if you can get something that pays $200, that's going to extend another week, really.
Right.
So that would be my plan, because I'd be like, oh boy,
why? There's not even a need. You can make more than 500 a week now.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I know a lot of people still are uncertain about what the workforce looks like, or the workplace looks like for the workforce. You know, they're uncertain about COVID, but you do a little research, you're going to find the companies that are paying really well, that are doing all the hiring. They've put all the PPE in place, all the safety measures to keep people safe. COVID is not spreading in these places. It's coming from the community. People that test positive in these different facilities, you know, they're catching them right at the door with a temperature reader, like a biometric reader, everything.
Yep.
And they're in bunny suits, and they turn you back around and you go quarantine. It's not spreading in the workplace. That's not the problem. It's bringing it in. And with all the plexi shields in place, like if someone's even positive, once they realize it, they send them home, and it's not spreading in the building. Yeah. So if you're a job seeker and that's one of your concerns, just pick up the phone and call the HR manager and say, hey, give me a virtual tour of what you're doing in the building to keep people safe. And you'll feel a lot better about your decision. But to sit around and, you know, to get $500 a week in unemployment or something close to that, and to just keep waiting for an extension, I get it, but I would challenge you to take a second look at the job market and know you can do better for yourself right now. You can do a lot better for yourself if you just do a little bit of research and get out there, and you'll quickly find how easy it is to get into the next career move of your dreams, and just make it happen. Do it today.
No, I agree. And I wish a lot more would think that way, because that's the way I would think. I'm the same way. If I'm running out of money or anything like revenue, I'd be like, whoa, I better do something. Like you said, think about it 2 months from now. And I feel sorry. I have some candidates I'm really, really trying to help. I mean, they're so qualified and they're upset, man. I'll tell you what, I feel bad, because I wish I could help everyone. I really do. I take pride when you can find, you know what it's. I remember what it was like. Only one time in my life was I let go.
Wow.
It wasn't called in transition then. I don't know what it was. I was called in HR, because HR scares the hell out of me. Well, HR is not there to make you happy. Well, they do everything else nowadays, but when you got called HR back in the day, man, you were like, oh God, I'm let go. You know,
right.
But I knew what I had to do. And I try to help some of the new ones, and I feel bad, because I said, what's happening? Are you interviewing wrong? Are you taking, like, I would take advantage of I watch TED Talks. I look at LinkedIn Learning.
Wow.
Anything to stand out and learn something.
Yeah.
How are you, maybe, like I said, maybe you're interviewing wrong. The wording that you're saying.
Yeah. Like, you know, and maybe, like, if you get the interview, Dave, you can eliminate like having a good or bad resume. If you get a bunch of interviews lined up because of your resume, you can check that off. Okay, I've got a good resume. But then every interview you go through, you never get a second call. You know you're doing something wrong in the interview. So you can use LinkedIn Learning. I love LinkedIn Learning. When I used it, Dave, it was called lynda.com, and then LinkedIn purchased them. And you know, they have like 20 different course or videos on interviewing tips, and they're super helpful. I took a lot from those.
Top notch. I still look at them. I mean, because some of them are like an hour. They're over an hour, so I'll watch 30 minutes of it, because I'm like, wow, for a whole hour. But it's so professionally done.
Right.
You know, they didn't reinvent the wheel. They just take all that other stuff out of it. And really, I'm glad you said that, because I like it, you know, also. So, all right. So, wow, we talked a lot about, we talked about a lot. I don't know what that
is. Didn't we just get started, Dave? What else are we going to talk about?
Woo. Well, I got one more. Now that you say that, one more thing about the video resumes that I've been doing.
Tell me more.
I get candidates that want to do it, and they'll call. I set them up. They don't do it. They'll call a week or two. I'll send it again. Then when they do it, they don't do the homework that I asked them and say, listen, I need the companies where you want to work. Still apply. Don't stop applying at your jobs, but give me there so I can take a chance to skill market you and send them.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do it for everyone. So they need to do part of the work. And when some of them call and did you find me something? I'm like, no, because I don't know where you want to go. You know, you're supposed to tell me what your minimum is to make. So if I see a job, but I can't get some of them to complete it, I don't know what
it's
to do.
Unfortunate because what you're doing there, Dave, you are going far above a lot of other people. The video resume concept is, it's brilliant. If you were to send me a candidate, like, Dave, right now I'm hiring for staffing recruiters and on-site managers.
Yeah.
If you were to send me somebody with their entire profile built out and a video resume, I would not have to meet that person.
Yeah.
If all of that looked good, I would just send them an offer letter.
That's what I mean. And what I did, this was an example real quick. So when I told you that Vic gave me one order it was for the software
engineer.
Yeah, software engineer, and the other one software developer. Get this, 10 people that applied, 10 people did the video resume within one day. That was a record for me. 10, as soon as I sent it. Now that didn't even have what it was paying, which I don't know, because I'm sure they know what they pay.
Yeah. But
as soon as I sent them, can you please do this? It's mandatory. I had it by the end of the day. So I'm saying to myself, what did I do differently there? It can't be the skill set, but they must know how fast the job goes or something. Right. They did it so fast, but yet I can't get certain people to do it. And after like the second or third invite, I stopped.
Well, I'm seeing in the light industrial space, we still come across people that don't have a smartphone. They don't have internet at home. And in fact, we call them on their phone and they're like, hey, I can only talk to you when I'm connected to Wi-Fi. And you're like, what? Really? And I think there's just a lot of people that are struggling financially. And so, I think you have to walk them through it. You have to find someone that can be patient and walk them through the process. But the ones that respond quickly, like 10 in one day, the same day, I mean, that
I was blown away.
That's huge. Yeah.
I said to Vic, I said, what did I do? I said, wow, maybe it's just a job, but I wish a lot more people would do it. And then also with resumes, a lot of people don't, in the light industrial end, forklift, they don't have resumes.
And it's such a small thing that because it's so unique that if you have a resume in this space, you are literally the lead. You're the top of everybody else. It doesn't matter if you got half the skill set. If you have a resume that's well written, put together, and then if you did something with video, I mean, you're going to be at the top of the list for any candidate that's being considered for the job.
Well, I send out I found a nice three different types of resumes to build. So when a candidate tells me I don't have one, I said, okay, I send them, here you go. Well, I don't have a computer. Or okay, there's got to be places where you can go for a computer and you can make one of your friends or somebody in your family, you can drive and say, hey, can I borrow your computer? I'm sorry. And it's only a couple steps, the 3 bullet points, yourself, and for light industrial and forklift drivers, hey, put it down what you did. It's important.
Yeah. Well, if I could add two things on there, Dave. One, and this is a little bit of a plug, for the company that I work with, we can generate a resume for any candidate. You plug in your work history, and we have a program that builds out a resume for you and makes you marketable. It's huge. But the second thing, for those that are in maybe making $50,000 a year or more, and they try to use these resume templates on Word and maybe some template online, I would just say I would caution someone from using a template and trying to write their own resume, because how do you, Dave, take all of your experience, your leadership skills, all of your accomplishments, like how do you explain that on a resume? What does it look like to work with Dave day to day under his leadership? And And, you just can't write for yourself. I don't care if you're a skilled copywriter, like to articulate what it looks like to work with Dave day to day and under his leadership. It's really difficult to do. I can pick apart the best resumes out there, but I am a terrible resume writer for myself. And so I've always hired a professional. $300 is all you're going to pay to have your resume written professionally. And if you have a skilled resume writer, they can make the HR manager actually, envision what it's like to work with Steve under his leadership day by day. And that's how you set yourself apart from other candidates, because 90% of them out there are writing them themselves, and they're not having a skilled copywriter that can really, paint that picture of what it's like to be under your leadership or to work with you day by day. And that's how you win on those resumes, Dave.
Well, we had the career builders around us all for it too, but they'll give you a free service. They'll help you. You can go down, you can seek the help to get it. Hey, you know what I did, and we'll finish up here shortly, is so when somebody does a video resume for me, I said, and if I'm not sure, hey, buddy, there he is, Robert.
Say hi, Dave.
He's like, no way. Hey, Robert.
He's running away now.
Is he? Yeah, he's probably like, what in the world? So I've done the video. Somebody sent me a video resume, and I'm like, no, they got to redo it. So I'll call the person. I say, listen, I want you to do a reverse role now. I'm going to send you this candidate, right? And you remember, you're the boss now. It's your company. Now I'm going to send this to you. I want you to watch it. Would you hire this person, or would you bring this person for a resume for an interview? Send them their own video and have them watch it. And they'll be like, wow, I shouldn't have said that. Or, but they're the ones that I send that need a little help. And I said, well, I got to be as candid as I can. Listen, look at this and tell me what's wrong, whether it's the background, whether it's the way you dressed. Picture it's your own company. Your own company. Set the standard. Nice resume, nice video resume, skilled assessment test on top of that. Do one of those crazy ones where I always pass and fail, the personality.
Yeah. You
can do that
assessment and
all together. And then what I tell candidates too is, well, these companies aren't all hiring. Yes, they are. Some of the companies, just because they're not advertising it, they're hiring. You just got to take that extra thing to go out of your way to get a hold of the company, or somehow there's always a way to get your resume there and say, hey, I know you're not hiring, but
and for me, if there's someone on my team I'm getting close to replacing, but I'm not quite there yet. If I was to have a great candidate presented to me in the middle of that process, right, all of a sudden I have an opening that's readily available, just not advertised anywhere. And that one candidate that, brought me their resume and I talked to them, they're the only one in the deck, and I have no one else I'm going to choose from. I just choose that person. Oh yeah.
And the time it saves too for you. If I had a candidate for you right now, I got 24 in my database right now. If somebody said they needed a customer service rep, right, I could send 24 live videos to them. Just like that. And then you could be like, no, this one doesn't have this. That's how easy.
Right.
But
you need to send me some staffing recruiters, Dave, and some on-site managers.
Hey, all the way to Utah, we could probably do it. So, but
man, business is booming. I need like 5 on-sites now.
Holy crow. I need one recruiter for over here. I'm looking for one recruiter, a bilingual recruiter I have to find, and an admin too. They want some qualifications on all of them. But I want to thank you so much. Wow, 45 minutes. That's a pretty good show.
This has been fun, Dave.
Yeah, it's a lot of great information for everybody, and they're always welcome. I tell everybody, listen, reach out to myself or Steve on LinkedIn. Anything, you have any questions, network. I won't put somebody down if they have a question. I mean, I'll answer it.
Absolutely.
And take care of the candidate. And like you said, time's coming up, December 26th. I like what you said. Make a plan. Make the plan now. Write it down. What is the worst thing? It's like that scale. Write it down.
Yeah.
And should I?
What, I mean, wasn't it every like 7 out of 10 millionaires went bankrupt at least once in their life? Like you have to take a chance, and So what if you failed, Dave? Some of the best lessons I've ever learned in my life are the ones where I failed miserably. I got it wrong.
And you got it. Hey, Eric, thank you for watching the show and appreciate it. We'll have to see if I must be frank. Well, when they chime in, yeah, one of us is our connected, so it has to go for text. So,
how you doing, Eric?
Yeah.
So, Dave, your future's today. It's not tomorrow. It's in the present moment. That's what I'm leaving the live with.
So there we go. All right. Thanks, Bill. And everybody, we'll talk to you soon. Steve, thanks a lot. Whatever's in Utah, I have no clue.
Rocky Mountains, baby. Lots of snow right now.
Oh, really? Wow. All right, everybody, have a great night, and we'll talk to you